I am so excited to be here today at the Spiritual Growth Forum. Greetings to the speakers and the attendees. Welcome. I welcome you to join me on this journey today as we discuss what do you do when life happens. I'm Nancy Allard, and I'm known as the multifamily unit expert. Why? Because I've lost millions in the real estate industry, so you don't have to. As an expert, I've been featured in Black Enterprise Magazine. I've been seen on HGTV, A&E, BET, and I am the host of an Emmy-nominated TV show, The American Dream, where I discuss luxury lifestyle and real estate. What else? Real estate. So today we're going to talk about what I do now and how I got here. What I do now is I coach people like you how to create passive income and generational wealth by buying multifamily units and leveraging life insurance products. How did I get here? Well, most of us know what happened in 2008. In 2007 8, the real estate market jumped off the cliff and decided to drag me with it. So when I say I've lost millions in the real estate industry, I've actually lost $5 million in the real estate industry because as a real estate agent, if I'm telling my clients and I'm telling everyone that real estate is where you should be, then if I'm not all in it as well, then I don't truly believe what I'm saying. So I was all in. I was all in, living my life, just living my life, making a lot of money, giving back to the community, traveling, just being Nancy alert. And then the market crashed. And at the time, I had 8 properties. And when the tenants stopped paying their rents, and in the attempt to keep my credit score where it was, I was paying the mortgages on all of these properties. And if you know anything about what was going on back then is you just breathe and you got a loan. So all the loans I got on these 8 properties were subject to, or they were um, based on what you told them you made, what you have in the bank. It was just, here's a loan. You want a loan? Here's a loan. Everybody gets a loan. And each property had 2 loans, right? So just think about it. I had 8 properties and each of them had 2 loans on it, a first and a second trust, right? Because most of it was 100% finance. And when they stopped paying the tenants, I'm like, okay, so I'm paying all these loans back myself, trying to keep my credit score. And then finally, I'm like, Jesus, I'm going to have to give you the wheel. I'm going to have to turn this over to you. Lord, this is something I cannot do. I'm giving it to you. Please handle it. And so I had to walk away from 8 properties, and that's how I lost $8 million. And for 3 years, I was paralyzed. And when I say I was paralyzed mentally, emotionally. I could not make any decisions because the decisions I have made brought me to the point where I am now moving down into Brokeville. Because I'm like, okay, so I've lost all these properties, but real estate is still what I want. Real estate is still what I feel is like my ultimate. This is what I was put on earth to do, was to help families find homes. So I was like, okay, real estate is having a little hiccup right now. So why don't I find something else to do at the same time, still keeping the real estate? So I decided, in my infinite wisdom, to start a magazine. A business partner and I, we started a magazine. We got a magazine franchise, Her Life, and it was her and I. She has a full time job at the Pentagon. I have a full time job as a realtor, but we're running a monthly print publication. And needless to say, because the magazine was a free magazine and it was fueled through advertising. So, needless to say, that wasn't working because more time I spent on trying to get advertising for the magazine, that's less time I'm spending on real estate. And real estate is what was paying for the magazine. So, back and forth. And so, the money I had left, because I made a lot of money in real estate and I saved a lot of money, and thank you, Jesus, for that. Because for the 5 years after, that's the money I lived on, and the magazine took 400,000 of it, and that's when I decided I'm like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm frozen right now. I'm not doing anything because I've invested in real estate, which is what everybody told me to do, and I lost all my money. I went and I got a magazine, and I lost another $400,000. I can't make any decisions, so I'm just gonna not do anything. I'm just not going to make any decisions. So for 3 years, I made zero decisions. I just sat around, and whatever came to me, and I worked that, but I was not out there trying, working, motivated to do anything. 3 years. It took 3 years. I tell you, everyone, you need a moment when things are happening, but 3 years is way too long. That's not a moment. That's a whole century of time that went away that you can't get back. You can't get back, but you have to move forward when you realize, oh my God, it's 3 years later and I have been in this standstill position. So one day I was talking to a client of mine, and my tagline is getting it done. And we're talking, and she's like, I don't like this, Nancy. This is not the Nancy I know. You've done this before, so you have the knowledge, you have the experience, you can do it again. Go get it done. And she's like, go get it done. So I'm like, okay, I just don't know where to start. What do I do? And I thought about it. I was like, I need to evaluate this experience, because to know how, to find out, figure out how I got here. Most people say experience is the best teacher, but what I say is evaluated experience is what's the best teacher. So I evaluated what I did, how I got where I got to, and it's like figure out how not to get there again, how not to be back here to Brokeville, because I was living in Brokeville. And when I say Brokeville, I really mean Brokeville because I lost everything. And as I evaluate this experience, which meant I listened to all the podcasts, I watched all the TV news and shows, I read all the trade magazines and papers. And when you have that moment when it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the answer. This is why I needed to evaluate this to come to this point, this moment. And the moment when I realized that multifamily units is where I needed to be, because I realized that if I had a 4 unit building or an 8 unit building, I would not have lost my asset when the real estate market crashed. And I know you're saying, but Nancy, people stopped paying their rents and mortgage, and there was all this foreclosures and everything. Why would you not have lost the building? Well, here's the thing. If you have a 4 unit building and you bought it right where it's cash flowing, even if two people stop paying the rent, you're still paying your mortgage. And what will not happen is you will not lose your asset. You may not be making any money right now, but you won't lose your asset, and your asset is still appreciating. So you have it for the future. And here's how, and little known secret, buying a multifamily unit is easier than buying a single family home or a condo. And here's why. When you buy a 4 unit building, the lender uses 75% of the rents to add to your income so you can qualify for more than you can by yourself. What does that look like? Let's say your rent that you're collecting, we're going to keep it nice and simple, is $4,000. The bank, the mortgage company takes 3,000 of that and add that to your income every month, which means now you can buy a more expensive property. You can buy a multifamily unit because the tenants is helping you purchase it and the tenants are helping you pay for it. And it's easier to get a loan for a multifamily property than it is for a single family home because with a multifamily property, you're getting money, you're receiving money. Whereas when you buy your condo or your single family home for your personal residence, no money is coming in. You're paying the bank. Nothing is coming in because you're living there to pay. But if you have a multifamily, money's actually coming in for you to pay the bank. So they're happy to lend you money. So that's what I came up with when I thought about, went through and evaluated what happened to me and why I lost everything. And so I have been on the multifamily crusade movement since I would say 2014, 2013. And I understand that people say, well, it's a lot of trouble. I don't want to be a landlord. Here's the thing, it brings you back to what I wanted to talk to you about today. What do you do when life happens to you, right? And how do you move from, I don't have anything, I don't even have money to buy a cup of coffee, to back to a multimillionaire? How do you do that? You cannot do it if your mindset is not right. And it wasn't until I changed my mindset that I was able to move out of that place of feeling sorry for myself, feeling broken, feeling that I can't make any decisions. So, what I would like to say to you is yes, it was a failure, but most of us, we have to fail into success, right? We have to fail into it. Most of us, if you don't have any failures, you may never get to the success because you have to see how you've done it wrong and then tweak it and do it better and tweak it because you're learning, hopefully. You're learning from the experiences that you've had to get you to where you want to get to. So it's the mindset. And I realized that my mindset was in a negative space at that time because look what happened, right? You're running around, you're flying, you're traveling all over, and then all of a sudden you can't do any of these things. So you're in this mindset now of lack, of despair, So once you change that, and how do you change your mindset? Right? How do you change that mindset when everything is going wrong in your life? How do you stand up and say, oh, I'm just going to go out there and make it happen? Yes, you can say that, but mostly it's with a plan, it's with persistence, it's with intention, right? Because we have to be intention, we have to have strategy, we have to have a plan, and more importantly, we have to have a routine. And that's what got me out of what I was in and to where I am right now. I had to create a morning routine. I had to create strategies and a plan. And not only do you create strategies and a plan, but you have to write them down. You have to look at them. You have to say them every day, right? And you have to have that positive, I call them mental movies. Because the movies we have going rolling in our heads every day, all day long, which can be negative, which can be from your childhood, from your relationship, whether it's friends or intimate relationship. You got all these negative movies running in your head all day long. You have to switch those and change those to positive. And it's not going to be overnight. It may take a moment, but every day Once a negative movie pops in, then you replace it in mentally with a positive movie. So what I did was I realized that there are five things that successful people do every day that keeps them on that path of being successful. One, it has to do with your mindset, right? Your mindset is so important to where you are and where you're looking to go to. So, the five things that I want to talk to you about for you to literally change the way your life goes from today. And these are not things you have to run out and buy anything or what have you. It's things that you already know, but you're not doing. So here's one. When you wake up in the morning, I have a question for you. And you can put this in the chat. When you wake up, do you jump out of bed with knowing at the time when you have 10 minutes, you're going to be late 10 minutes because that's where you just jump out of bed. You don't even have time to get your breakfast, say a prayer, meditate, nothing. You just jump out of bed and you run and you're gone. That's not how you're supposed to start your day. So, number one would be when you wake up in the morning, before your feet touch the ground, you pray and or meditate, right? You have to be centered and grounded and set your intentions for what you want to happen that day. You start thanking, being thankful. Thank you, God, for giving me another day. Thank you for the sun that gives me the vitamin D that I need. Thank you for the water that I need to live. Thank you for my family, for my work. You have a job. Thank you for the home that I'm living in. A lot of us think that we have to be thankful for the big things. Some of the little things you need to be. Thank you for the butterfly that flew by earlier. Just thank you. Just give gratitude. Pray, meditate, and give gratitude. The first thing in the morning. I promise you, this will center you for your day. And if you start with the positive energy, knowing that you're going out in the world that's filled with negative energy, it will help you get through that day without totally destroying your soul. And remember, we all have some negative people in our lives, and we have to, this is 2024, we have to be able to say no and say not today. And you don't have to answer every ringing phone, or you don't have to respond to every email, at least not at the moment it's happening. You can take a moment and say, you're negative, I'm not going to deal with you today, or get rid of those negative people. So the ones that just suck your energy, your positive energy, they just suck, they're like, just suck all the air and the energy out of the room when they walk into the room. You have to be able to say, me, I'm going to put me first. And that's not being selfish. You know, when you're on the airplane and the flight attendant says, if there's turbulence, if there's trouble, situate your mask first before you help anyone else. If you're not mentally ready, if you're having issues with your positivity, handle your business first. Take care of you first. That is not being selfish. Take care of you first and then help the others. And remember, everyone is not going with you. You can't take everyone with you, and do not feel anything but thank you, Jesus, for putting me on the path that I'm on, because you can't take everyone with you. They will definitely pull you down and destroy your energy. So pray and meditate when you wake up. Next thing is read. And this is when stuff happens to you in life. When life knocks you down, what are you doing? You're sitting watching TV all day? You're watching other people live their lives? No. What you do is you read. You read books that are going to help you build your self esteem, help you with your job, help you with your career, help you with that mindset that you need if you're looking to start a business. These are all books that will help you internally and externally. So, reading is definitely important. What are the last three books you've read regarding self improvement? Put it in the chat. Let me know. What are the last three books you've read? For me, the one that I keep going back to, it's the book most read, I think, and it's been written hundreds of years ago, and it has all the truth in it. It's the Bible, right? I read the Bible. Well, I read the Bible every day. You can get a lot of information out of the Bible to help you right now to move from whatever space you're in, whether if you lost money, you've lost a loved one, you've lost a friend, you've lost situations, right? When you are in that space, reading is so important. And especially reading the Bible or reading something that is going to change the way you're feeling about yourself and the world at that moment. The books that I've read, that I consistently read, that I think fuels me spiritually and personally and business wise, is the Bible. And the other book that's been written for a long, when I think it was 1940 something or 30 something, Think and Grow Rich. It's a small book and it's an easy read, but it will change your life. Think and Grow Rich. It will change your life. So check that out. There's so many other books that you can read. That the one thing, I think, because we are so in this world, in this community, in this atmosphere where we're trying to do 50 million things at one time. The one thing is something, is a book you should read. We should focus. And the reason most of us, we noticing lately that people are saying, a lot of people are experiencing early onset of Alzheimer's. But you know what I think it is? I think it's the multitasking and all the 5 million things we're doing where we're not giving the brain an opportunity to absorb and to see and focus on that one thing and then move on to the next, because maybe we're doing 50 million things at once. The brain can't hold on any of it. So hence you don't remember, you don't recall, because you don't even remember doing that because you were doing something else with it. It just happened to me last night. I was trying I was on American Airlines trying to book a flight, and then I was on Amtrak booking a train to New York, and then the flight from New York to Arizona, and and then booking my speaking engagement. And this morning I woke up and the only thing I could find is the American airline confirmation. And I'm like, I didn't finish. I started, but I didn't finish the Amtrak or the speaking engagement. And I'm thinking, this is what this is. We have to focus on one task, complete that one task, and then move on to the next. And this all has to do with when you're going through adversity, you're sitting there in the quiet, or you're just watching TV, but activating you're not activating your mind to get you out of that place so you can move forward. You've done whatever you've done before. You've been there before. You've made the money, or you've created what you've created, and you just had this little hiccup. It's a hiccup. And it's something to teach you how to do it better in the future. So when life happens, what do? You meditate, you pray, you read, and then you start to write your goals and your dreams. You write them down. And not only do you just write them down, you have to write them down, review them, right? You have to write it down and you have to review it. Because there's no point in just writing it down and let it sit there. Because nothing is going to happen if you're not seeing it every day, every other day, once a week. And you're not measuring. Because you have, everybody said, oh, I have a business plan. Well, when did you write it? Oh, 5 years ago. When was the last time you looked at it? 5 years ago when I wrote it. So how do you know you're getting to where you're trying to get to? How do you know you've succeeded? You've reached a plan, right? We can't just sit in that space of, I'm not going to do it anymore because I failed the first time, I failed the second time. You know, all these inventors that we have, all these creators that we have, where would we be if they had decided, my life turned into crap once and I'm not doing anything anymore? Or I failed 50 times, I failed 100 times, I'm not doing anything anymore. No, we can't do that. We have to move forward. We have to think, meditate, read, write down, write down, write down your plan, your affirmations. You say them every day. It will help you get out of the funk that you're in. And one thing that most of us just don't want to be bothered with, exercise. It gives you oxygen to the brain. It fills your body. It gets the blood pumping, keeps your heart pumping. Well, your heart pumping, not the blood, but it gets the blood running through your veins. Exercise. And you don't have to be at the gym for 5 hours. You can just walk for 15, 30 minutes every day. And you don't, what a difference it will make with your mental and your physical. Because as you're walking, your mind is clear. It gives you clarity on some things that you might not have had clarity on. So, exercise. And the fifth one would be take action. Take action. A lot of us do a lot of self-improvement webinars, seminars, summits, conferences. Like this is a summit right here. And I appreciate you and I thank you for taking the time today to come out and listen to all of the speakers to get something to improve in your life, help you get to whatever it is you want to get to improve in your life. That is great. That is a great step you have made. However, there's a more important step is after you leave here, when we are done today, what are you going to do? Are you going to take action on anything? Because that's how you can change your life when life happens, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to change? Remember, education without implementation is just entertainment. So, are you here for the entertainment or are you here to change your life, to improve on your life? Put it in the chat. What is it that one thing that you will do today to change your life? What is it? You're going to develop a plan. You're going to have a strategy. You're going to have a morning routine because these are all the things that will help change you mentally, physically, and emotionally so that when life hits you, and it will, even if you're a Christian, it doesn't mean because you're a Christian you won't get knocked down. Sometimes we get knocked down more, more often, I think. What are you going to do when life happens? Are you mentally prepared and ready to shift and move with it? Are you ready to make the moves or are you going to be sitting 3 years? I did that 3 years. I can't get those years back. But that's why I'm here to help, even if it's one person, to know failure is not the end. I consider that the beginning. If you fail in something, that's the beginning because that's going to help you to get to the success. It shows you, especially if you evaluate it, right? If you evaluate it, it'll show you this is where I am, this is what I've done, this is what happened, because that's what I did. I evaluated that experience and I'm like, yeah, buying 8 individual properties was not the right move. Buying a 1 4 unit building would have been the right move. And the truth of the matter is, that same year, I sold a 4 unit building to my client a deal in DC, Northeast DC, for $280,000. That's the same year I bought a 1 bedroom condo on the 20th floor in Chicago at the Magnificent Mile. It's 10 East Ontario Place. $440,000 plus $40,000 for the parking space. So $480,000 I spent on a 1 bedroom condo in Chicago. And I sold a 4 unit building to my client for $280,000, which he still owns. And I spoke with him yesterday. He still owns it and he gets letters and notices every day, people wanting to buy that property. It's worth 900,000 plus. You see what I'm saying? The 4 unit is still here. The individuals are gone. So that I learned, that lessons I learned, and that's why I am on the movement to show and teach and coach people like you how you can own a 4 unit building and how you can get up from whatever situation it is that you're in that costs you to be where you are and decide that this is just a moment in time. This is just a hiccup. It's not a problem. It's not even a situation. It's just a hiccup. And this is something I can move from because I think positively, because I meditate, because I visualize the end. I visualize what it is I want. And before I go, what I wanted to say to you is remember, your brain is listening when you're speaking to yourself. And when you say, I am so fat, I am never going to lose this weight. I am never going to be rich. Anytime you put I am and you end it with a negative, that's what your brain hears. It doesn't care if you don't mean it, if you're just saying it in jest. It can't differentiate. It hears that. So from this day on, I am enough. I am beautiful. I am a multimillionaire if you want to be a multimillionaire. I am a perfect size 6. That's my thing. That's what I say all the time. And now I am. I have said I am a perfect size 6 for about 2 years. I am a perfect size 6. And now I am a perfect size 6. You keep saying it every day. Put it out in the universe. It will come back. I promise you. You say it, you write it down, you look at it. The morning you wake up in the mirror. I am successful. I am whatever it is you want to be. You can be it. You just have to change the way you think about it. So, I'm offering a free 30 minutes free consultation, and we're going to put the link in the chat. Just go to thealertfactor.com and book now or book me, it says, and schedule your 30 minutes free consultation. We can talk about how to change your mindset, how to get to the place where you want to get to, how to create passive income by buying buildings, and you can do it. Do not listen to anyone that doesn't own a 4 unit building that tells you you can't own one and it's so much trouble. How do you know it's so much trouble? Do you own one? And I don't care if your auntie or your uncle or your cousin owns one. Do you own one? No, then you can't tell me that I can't, because you can do whatever you want to do. You are whoever you want to be. All you have to do is ask, believe, and you will receive. Ask, believe, and you will receive. Once you put it out there, you say it every day. And you can't say, Nancy, I said I am beautiful. I said I am a perfect size 6. I said I've lost 10 pounds. I said I am this and I am that for 1 week and nothing happened. Well, okay. You have to be consistent because the universe gives you what you can handle. And if you can't handle $5,000, they're not going to give you 5 million. Okay? When you're ready, it's on the universe and his time, not on your time. Okay? So you will get it. It may be for you, for some people, the next week you manifested whatever you want and it happened in a week, in a month, in 6 months, in a year. But I promise you, I have a vision board, and almost everything on my vision board I have now has come true. So every January, usually January 1st, because that's the day I absolutely stay home, drink champagne, and eat black eyed peas and rice, and do my vision board. And I do it by myself because I want to be one with myself. And whatever is on that board is about me. I don't want anybody else's energy in the room touching my board. It's about you. If you've never done a vision board, try one. Put all the things down that you want in life. You want, and you will see. And you put it someplace where you look at it every day and you say these things. This is what I want. This is what I'm working towards. And you say it in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that I've made $500,000 this year selling my books. I've made $500,000 this year in commissions. I've made $1 million this year in speaking engagements. Whatever it is, you say it consistently. You say it, you write it down, you look at it, you say it. It will change the negative movies and change it to positive movies. And you will see once you're walking around with positive energy is attracted to you. I remember one day I woke up and I was just so, I don't know why. I was like filled with all this energy and just happy that day. You know, sometimes that happens, right? You just wake up, you feel extra cute, and you're like, oh, I'm looking extra good today, and my hair is doing what it's doing, the makeup is doing what it's supposed to do, and the clothes is on point. You have some of those days where you wake up and you're like, oh, you kind of cute, girl. You're doing it today. And you go out into the world and just everybody's smiling and life is just coming at you in a great way. It can happen like that every day. You have to start the day with the intention that this day is going to be the best day. You have to start your day with that intention about what is my intention for today? Lord, please guide me today to make sure that I do the things I need to do to create the life I want every day. Lord, guide me so I can do the things I need to do, stay away from the things that I should not be doing so that I can have the life that I want. It's your mindset and it's the negativity. And if you stay away from negative people, and you change the way you think about you and the world when life happens to you, and it will happen. It may be small, it may be big. You will be ready to handle it. You'll be knocked down, don't get me wrong. But remember, take a day, no more than a day. Some people take hours, but I say take a day to be sorry, to be sad, to wallow. And then get your butt up and get it done. I'm Nancy Alert, and I'm known as the multifamily unit expert. I wish you the best life ever. Have a fabulous day.